Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the showdown between the Sons of Sigmar and the High Elves. It's going to be myself with Marcus Wolfhart facing off against Cool Umbrella, who's going to be coming in with Tyrion. Always a fun Lord choice, very tough. I can't tell you how many games I faced off against Tyrion, gotten him low, and then he heals up to full health, or close to full health, with his Heart of Averlorn and turns the tide of the game. Quite scary indeed. Now, this is a matchup I practiced quite a bit in domination mode, so I basically went with some of the same principles. The idea is that the Sunmaker is going to be a counter against bolt throwers. When the bolt throwers go down, that then frees up the wagons to really put a lot of pressure and just be obnoxious to your opponent. Wagons have always been super good, honestly, one of the big kind of heart and soul units of the Empire. Now, front line here is going to be swordsmen, state troopers, nothing flashy, nothing shiny. These guys get in here, they lose to high elf infantry, and they're proud doing it. They're going to hang in there and do their job for Sigmar. Couple spears in the back, we got Marcus Wolfhart, a light caster as well as a net caster. So going to be trying to slow down our opponent's forces and snare them when they try and dive our artillery in the backfield. And the Jade Wizard is basically there to heal up the war wagons and potentially Marcus Wolfhart in the late game. Couple Empire roadblocks. We do have Empire Knights here and here. These guys just going to be running roadblocks against the old Silver Helms, Illyrian Reavers. I'm very used to, in domination mode, having a ton of... and honestly, I played this matchup like 1,000 times in Warhammer 2 as well. So it's not like it's something completely new, but I'm used to a million Reavers jumping into the backfield and causing havoc. So... Mage of Death, nice choice here. Spirit Leech is pretty good against Empire sniping characters like Marcus, and Buna's good against my cavalry, and he does have Tyrion. Tyrion's a great hunter, and no Sunfang though. I do like Sunfang. I feel like it can be good against like Sigmar Suns type tech, but front line's going to be White Lines of Grace Rangers, bolt throwers, and there is going to be double Silver Helm in the back. Silver Helms do defeat Empire Knights in straight combat. Empire Knights are slightly tankier, but the DPS differential does make the difference. You can see 26, let's look at the stat comparison here. So 26, 30, and 30. Whereas if we look at the stats here on these bad boys, 36, 44, 32 with a much bigger charge bonus. So yeah, Silver Helms get the job done. What about HP though? I'm curious about that. 6.2 and Empire Knights 6.4. So Empire Knights a little bit tankier, but of course not going to have the damage output to win that trade. Now fighting is underway. Sunmaker making it rain here on these bolt throwers, which is pretty classic. I did have a little bit of a hill in the back too, so I was able to kind of hide behind that. But just going to be sounding the horn of the wagons. Decided to send him up. I know it's going to put him in bolt thrower range, but I wanted to kind of soften up his army before we got close. And I figured that the bolt throwers were going to be trying to target the Sunmaker, but I was mistaken here. But even still, we got to just stop his army because his Rangers will crush my state troopers, and so too will the White Lines of Grace. So we can't really, play that game. I got to use every asset I can to try and wear down his army, as one bolt thrower is now offline. So that's great. One is gone, not going to be a variable for some time. So overall, I would say a pretty good start to this game. Now, I don't know what this Jade Wizard was doing. Maybe he was overtaken by the Bloodlust of Khorne, but I did make a mistake in sending him up. And, maybe it confused my opponent. He's like, why is he making such a stupid decision here? But nonetheless, the Light Wizard is going to be getting away, as Tyrion will be lurking in very soon. Empire Knights for Sigmars. They charge down the hill. Beautiful charge, punting a lot of those Rangers, but not a lot of damage. If those were obviously Winged Lancers or a Bretonnian cavalry unit, it would be a big, big different story. But even still, that's not bad. It's pretty damn respectable. Those Rangers get smashed pretty good. Silver Helm's coming around the back. Silver Bullet's going to be lurking here, facing sideways, getting ready for these units. And now I kind of started to figure the bolt throwers weren't the main issue, and I needed to wear down his infantry. So the Sunmaker is going to be switching its targets onto the White Lines of Grace, while these state troopers do engage in the front line. Now I should win a couple of these engagements. The state troopers, old Hans and Rudolph here, they should get the job done against these Rangers, considering these Rangers are so beat up. But even still, these White Lines will probably defeat these Swordsmen. A lot of the frontline fights are going to be super dicey, and it's pretty much always like that. If you're an Empire player, you just have to accept your fate. Sunmaker gets a nice shot there, does tickle the pickle of the White Lines, and also is able to hit these Rangers a little bit. So overall, wearing down the infantry is going to be one of the big epicenters of our strategy. One of our wagons is getting pounded though, the bolt throwers, the two of them, have been able to make some okay contact with the wagons, but since I've fallen back a little bit, it's been a little bit trickier for my opponent to snipe them easily. The Empire Knight's running roadblock here, and like I said, Silver Helms will win in like a sustained combat grind. But also he's got some infantry units coming in. And I just realized this, I was wondering why this thing wasn't doing as much damage as it usually does. Over the course of the game, it looks like it was shooting in. Once I was shooting at units closer, it was hitting the hill with its ammunition. So feels bad, man. Now another Silver Helm looping around the back, going to be looking to get onto the Sunmaker. And this is a little bit tricky. I use a net to keep the Rangers and buy myself some time. These Spearmen going to be battling White Lines of Grace. Marcus Wolfhart just kind of poking at Tyrion, trying to put some hurt on him, and is ripping some anti-large shots. And Tyrion's heart, man, that healing is insane. So it's tricky. You have a couple choices. You could just like grind your head against the grindstone and bring him down, or you could just kind of hope army losses get him instead of actually trying to focus down. Both are viable strategies. Really depends on what you're up to here. Rangers getting shot by the Silver Bullets up on the high ground, but unfortunately Silver Bullets are going to be forced to run. Rangers are much quicker than them too. So overall, the Silver Bullets haven't been super good for me this game. My opponent's swarming has been very, very nasty. So this is something that's cool about wagons. They have pretty good armor, so you can use them as roadblocks against enemy cavalry, especially if they're not AP cav. So we use them to roadblock these silver helms and buy a little bit of time while also kind of shooting at them. But now that Tyrion's in here, it's a little bit more of a precarious situation. Looking at the bounce power, pretty even. I do send my Jade Wizard over to help, and the Jade Wizard is okay combatant, so it is able to kind of help turn the tide of the fight against these silver helms. It's actually very, very close between those two units. Thankfully for me, the Sunmaker is still shooting. In retrospect, should have been shooting the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower instead of trying to shoot these short units, but to be honest, short! I didn't know that the Sunmaker was hitting the hill when I was shooting, so certainly a little bit of a lapse on my part. So Wagon's going to be forced back. Tyrion going to be jumping onto the Sunmaker, trying to shut it down. Meanwhile, Marcus Wolfhart, the Great Huntsman, going to be ripping some shots into the old Mage of Death here, but the Mage does hide amongst the Sigmarites. Marcus, of course, being the true Chad he is not going to want to friendly fire his brothers in arms here. Swordsman moving up, and now we have a bit of an open lane. We did win some of the mid-game fights, or mid-lane fights, because of how beat up the units were. So these swordsmen going to be sprinting into the backfield, going to be trying to shut down the Bolt Thrower here, because they are doing some pretty considerable damage over the course of this game. Wagons in the backfield shooting at these silver helms, and we are able to break them. So wagons obviously are pretty hard counter against heavy cavalry in general, so they do counter those bad boys. But my opponent does have the counter against the wagons. The Bolt Throwers are really, really good tech against them. A couple other options on the High Elves, like Sisters of Avalorn, can do well, but they're also very vulnerable against like Sunmaker type units. It's a bit of an interesting matchup. There's a few ways you can play it, I suppose. But Tyrion here, hunting down my mage. I do run a little bit of a roadblock, trying to buy some time for my mage to escape, but he doesn't get the memo, and he's going to be turning to try and fight the old heir of an Aryan here, whatever the hell his title is. And yeah, it's not going to be good. So the Mage of Life going to need to flee the scene. Here we do have some white lines of Krace doing battle with Marcus Wolfhart. Marcus is an okay melee fighter. He doesn't have good weapon strength, but his combat stats are pretty respectable. So he should be able to eventually fight those guys off. Meanwhile, the Mage of Life is escaping with the wagon convoy. And the Sunmaker, I was overall pretty happy with it. Yeah, it's going to get shut down here, but I do have the crew run away, so I dismantle the artillery. And I'm like, maybe there's a slim chance in the late game I'm going to be able to get them back online. So let's try and save as many of the crew as we possibly can. So Silver Helms and Tyrion are chasing me. Swordsman back here trying to shut down the old Eagle Claws, but my opponent's white lines of Krace doing a pretty good job sweeping him up. More swordsmen coming from the other side. Silver Bullets getting chased off by the Rangers. Very, very good play from my opponent there, making sure that a high-value shooting piece that could kill Tyrion doesn't come back. And we do get some massive damage on Tyrion. I had Marcus force shooting him, so we had Marcus in guard mode shooting Tyrion. We also blast him. So at this point, I was starting to feel pretty confident. I was like, man, this is looking great. My opponent's like, Tyrion's on death's bed. Let's drop a net on this bad boy. But then the Heart of Avalorn goes off, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot how that one worked. So Heart of Avalorn procs, and that is a fat erect heal. And that bad boy, it can proc I think, what is the cooldown on it? Yeah, 2 minutes, I think? So, like, if I don't kill him again within 2 minutes, I'm pretty sure it can proc again, which is pretty nasty, so. Yeah, we're going to see what we can do. Tyrion, of course, is there. Could have gone for the Alpha Strike on him, but there were some cavalry chasing me, and decided to get away and try my luck a little bit later on, which is something we will most likely regret. Swordsman moving up, battling white lines of Krace, and they do manage to finish him off. White lines are very beat up, and you can see, you put your faith in the old swordsmen of Sigmar. They get the job done every now and then. These swordsmen over here doing some glorious work, coming back from death's bed and actually taking down the crew here. So the Elven crew is going to be karate chopped by the finest swordsman that Sigmar has to offer. All the other state troopers move in, and they are going to be trying to shut down the Bolt Throwers. Wagons coming in, and now all the Bolt Throwers are offline. Suddenly it felt like a much better game. The heir of an Aryan here could be hunting down my Light Wizard. Light Wizard getting shanked a little bit, taking some HP damage, while Marcus Wolfhart just continues to kite these guys. And I think I had him saving his ammo at this point. I'm not 100% sure. Regardless, we're going to have a really scrappy game on our hands. Tyrion gets a nice shot. Mage of Death drops a Spirit Leech on the Spearman here, which I was very happy to see. I was just grateful that, because these guys weren't really going to be a player in the game. If the Spirit Leeches had been going down on my characters like Marcus or my Light Wizard, I think I would have been a little bit more stressed. Granted, he does get him off the battlefield, and I do have access to Earthbloods, which I have been doing over the course of this game. So we net down Tyrion again, and the Heart of Avalorn's active for another 30 seconds, or it's on cooldown for another 30 seconds. So going for the kill here, trying to get some shots, but I don't think we're going to be able to. The wagons are unleashing all their fury. Swordsman moving up, and Marcus Wolfhart going to get a little bit of support from the tattered Empire Knights. Only a couple Empire Knights left, but even 11 Empire Knights can make a pretty respectable difference against lightly armored units, so they're going to be running in and should be able to peel these Rangers off. You see they get punted pretty good, and unfortunately, the Heart of Avalorn is going to be back off cooldown here. You know what that means, guys. Even though I do take over the Bounce of Power, your boy Tyrion is going to be healing up once again, but the Forbidden Tech is here, guys. The Sunmaker crew. Oh god, I just took a sip of water and it went down the wrong pipe. I'm too weak. The Sunmaker crew's coming back. And they're going to be able to put some big hurt on the remaining Rangers. Granted, that's what's cool about wagons also is 69, the blessed number of Sigmar. I love it. But yeah, the wagons can kind of be used as makeshift chariots, especially against like light infantry and things like that. So now what's going to happen at this point is Tyrion's going to go and try and shut down the Sunmaker, which is a good call. It only has, like, I think 2 shots left or 1 shot, but even 1 shot could be, like, game-changing, right? Here my opponent does send in his Mage of Death to battle my 2 mages, trying to Spirit Leech them down. But the Light Wizard and the Jade Wizard should fight pretty well shoulder to shoulder, and you can see the Mage of Death, despite popping the Starwood Staff in the Book of Hoth, is going to be getting karate chopped down, and the troopers are moving up. So you can see here the High Elf troopers moving in, swordsmen getting ready to engage, but the Sunmaker rips a clutch shot, which is not only going to do damage, but being shot by artillery does apply a -10 leadership penalty. So just the shot alone of being shot at is pretty good, right? So now the Ranger's going to be engaging versus swordsmen, but Marcus Wolfhart, the Huntsman, basically, you know, Arnold and Predator, giving the bro handshake to the state troopers, coming in and slicing some of these guys asunder. While the wagon's going to be going on a snipe here for Tyrion, going to be trying to get him, and we do get a nice isolation. I was pretty happy that he pulled back the White Lines of Grace to chase here, and we do get another Sunmaker volley, so that was pretty big. It is able to nail those White Lines of Grace, putting him down to 20 leadership. Tyrion not going to be super happy about this. The wagons still have some respectable ammo. We come in, Tyrion off chasing something, and here we do run down the White Lines of Grace. So now all of his support, like the backbone, is gone. And it's going to be Tyrion versus, you know, my army, which a couple wagon shots. And Marcus Wolfhart is also still here with good ammo. I had 10 ammo left on him, so we drop a net on this bad boy. And now we're going to be just shooting him to pieces. So that's GG, well played. Tyrion runs from the forces of Sigmar. That was a good game. My opponent played great. Good scrap. Couple misplays on both sides. You know, we both had some moments where I think, I think Spirit Leech is going in maybe slightly different targets. Yeah, just little things like the Sunmaker crew being chased down completely. Maybe could have turned the tide of the game. Like that thing coming back in the 4th quarter was really clutch. So super fun stuff. Yeah, land battles can be a lot of fun when you run into good players, you know, who are used to kind of playing in the tournament circuit. I recognize Cool Umbrella's name from many tournaments back in the day. 2,500, 1,600 silver bullets were a bit of a weak link in the army. I think in retrospect, maybe I would cut the silver bullets. Maybe get another Empire Knight or something. I felt like having another cab piece would be really useful. Anyways, GG, well played. See you guys around. Take care of yourselves. Here's the value on the Elves, if you guys are curious. Bolt throwers probably did okay. Yeah, 800 on one of those bad boys. Interesting stuff. GG, well played. See you guys. That's it. Adios. And let me know what you guys want to see. More land battles, more Dom. I'll make it happen. Cheers.